Hazrat Ibrahim alaihissalam was put through many trials by Allah. But in every trial, Hazrat Ibrahim alaihissalam demonstrated mountains of patience and steadfastness. Allah bestowed upon Hazrat Ibrahim alaihissalam his son, Hazrat Isma'il alaihissalam, and then commanded him to leave Hazrat Isma'il alaihissalam and his mother, Hazrat Hajar alaihissalam, alone in the barren and rocky land of Arabia. Although this command was extremely difficult, Hazrat Ibrahim alaihissalam obeyed the decree of the generous Lord, leaving his brave lion-hearted son and Hazrat Hajar alaihissalam alone in the desert of Arabia. When he began to depart after leaving them behind, Ammi Hajar alaihissalam called out to him and asked, "Where are you leaving us?" Hazrat Ibrahim alaihissalam gestured towards the sky, upon which Ammi Hajar alaihissalam understood that this command was divine. Ammi Hajar alaihissalam said, "Then, if it is the command of Allah, He will surely take care of us." Hazrat Ibrahim alaihissalam left a few dates and a water skin with Hazrat Hajar alaihissalam and then departed. When the water and dates ran out and the heat of the desert intensified, Hazrat Isma'il alaihissalam began to cry due to hunger and thirst. Seeing her son in distress, Ammi Hajar alaihissalam ran back and forth between the hills of Safa and Marwa in search of water. In her anguish, she sometimes ran towards Safa, sometimes towards Marwa, and sometimes stood on the rocks to look at her child. Then, she ran back and forth between Safa and Marwa 7 times. In the agony of hunger and thirst, Hazrat Isma'il alaihissalam began to rub his feet against the ground, and where he did so, by the command of Allah, a spring of water gushed forth. When Hazrat Hajar alaihissalam returned to see her son, she noticed that water was flowing from the place where he had rubbed his feet. She hurried towards the water and said, "Zam Zam, stay, stop flowing." Then she quickly built a barrier around the water so that it would not flow away. In this way, by the grace of the merciful Lord, water was provided for Hazrat Isma'il alaihissalam, and after this incident, the desolate land of Arabia began to prosper. The well of Zam Zam was miraculously provided by the benevolent Lord to quench the thirst of Hazrat Ibrahim alaihissalam and Hazrat Hajar's alaihissalam, lion-hearted son, thousands of years ago, and it continues to flow to this day. The well of Zam Zam is located approximately 21 meters southeast of the Kaaba, and nowadays it is enclosed within the Mataf area. The well had dried up over time, but the grandfather of the Prophet, Hazrat Abdul Muttalib, was given a hint in a dream by the merciful Lord, after which he had the well of Zam Zam dug up again. During its excavation, 2 golden deer and swords emerged from it. Hazrat Abdul Muttalib dedicated it to the Kaaba, and later, some people of Arabia stole it. The largest vein of Zam Zam is located near the Hazrat Isma'il, but it also emerges in the form of branches from various places within the Haram boundary. Until 1953, water was drawn from it using a pulley, after which taps were installed inside and outside the Haram mosque at various locations. The water of Zam Zam is also available in Masjid Nabawi for the convenience of worshippers and is carried by all pilgrims and Umrah performers around the world. Hazrat Abdul Muttalib had the well of Zam Zam excavated again, and since then, there have been no changes in its length, width, or depth. The length of Zam Zam is 18 feet, its width is 14 feet, and its depth is approximately 5 feet. Makkah is surrounded by granite mountains on all sides, and the Haram Sharif is located at the lowest level in this Makkah valley. Makkah city is completely surrounded by sand and gravel, and Zam Zam is also located on the same sand and gravel. The water on this site is about 40 to 50 feet below ground level. According to a research report on Zam Zam, it contains important minerals such as sodium, calcium, magnesium, and many other minerals in specific quantities. Zam Zam is the leader of all waters and the most honorable and revered spring. Zam Zam water has the unique property of quenching both thirst and hunger. The Prophet's companion, Hazrat Abu Zar, stayed in the Kaaba for 30 days, and his only sustenance was Zam Zam water. When the Prophet asked him about his food, he said that he only drank Zam Zam and nothing else, which made him gain weight. Upon this, the Prophet said, "Indeed, Zam Zam is blessed. It is a means of nourishment for the one who drinks it and sustenance for the one who eats it." This is a great miracle of Zam Zam. Zam Zam is a living and eternal miracle, and despite thousands of years passing, it continues to flow in the same way. Every year, indeed, every day, millions of pilgrims and visitors carry this water to all corners of the world.